Yo guys, this is the Fight Business YouTube channel. I'm Dan McGowan and today we're going to be doing another fight watch, this time reviewing all the fights on one Friday Fight Night 46. So starting off, we're going to go through the main card fights because I mean there were so many fights, some really good fights on the show yesterday. But we're going to go through the main card fights. I think there was 5, starting with Seksan versus Riverz. So standard Seksan, straight away. I was watching it and I was thinking, sometimes I just don't understand how this guy has done so well in his career, because you watch that, if you didn't know what you were kind of watching, and he was like curling up, he was shying away, he was getting hit, like his defense looked terrible, he weren't blocking any low kicks, and then he comes out of nowhere and starts going crazy, and then he just manages to grind people down. And that's kind of what happened yesterday. But to be honest, this was probably one of his closest fights on one since he's been signed up, or fighting on one Friday fights / one championship fights as well. That was his 8th consecutive win now, I think, in a row. And he's just grind people down constantly, and that's his style. And it's been his style ever since I've ever been watching him for years and years now. Even in the stadiums, that's all he done was just pressure, and just hopefully that his opponent will crumble. And Riverz didn't really crumble too much. He stayed very strong. He caught Seksan with a real nice punch, dropped him. The referee didn't actually give him a count. It was kind of like a flash knockdown. So I didn't know if it was a slip, but I think he definitely got caught. So Seksan got caught with that. So I mean, that could have changed the fight massively. If that knockdown would have been stood, then that's a 10-8 round to Riverz, and that's him winning the fight basically. Then so it was actually a really close fight. A lot of people I see online as well saying that they thought Riverz might have won the fight. I think Seksan's just forward pressure and like just constant aggression, landing shots. Even sometimes if they're not landing, it might look good to the judges. And again, we've had this discussion about like judging on one championship and stuff like that. I think they are favouring someone that is the aggressor, and obviously Seksan's always the aggressor. So unless you completely clean him out, I don't know if you're going to win on one championship against Seksan. Which actually brings me on to a fight that I think, timing-wise, I think is perfect for both. Seksan versus Liam Harrison, I think has to happen. I think it has to be Liam's next fight. I think it's one of the only fights that really makes sense for him now, coming towards the end of his career. Seksan also, he can't be far off finishing his career up as well. So having 2 legends from different countries fighting on one, and that's just going to be a crazy fight. For however long it lasts, they're just going to stand toe to toe and they're going to go for it. And I think that's one. I've been saying it for ages, but I think that's the only fight that really makes sense right now for both of them, and that will get the Muay Thai fans and the outside fans, for people that are watching on Sky Sports, if they watch Liam versus Seksan, they're going to be straight away on Muay Thai. So yeah, I think that fight should be the one that happens next. And I did see Liam has put it out there as well, so I'm glad that he's on that as well. Second fight of the night on the main card, Nongo versus Nico. We did a fight prediction on this one. I kind of got the prediction right. If you put a gun to my head, momentum and stuff like that, I'd probably say Nico. But yeah, that's my prediction. I said that Nico was going to probably be a bit too strong because he's just so big for the weight. We kind of talked about that a lot. But it actually round 1 went completely differently to how I expected. So Nongo come out and I was like, wow, like coming off a bad knockout and then the whole illness situation and whatnot, I thought he was going to be a bit tentative, like kind of take his time, read Nico, see how strong Nico was. But he come out all guns blazing, low kicks. I don't know how he low kicks, but he hurts people straight away. I mean, he's Liam Harrison, obviously he done Liam's knee with a couple of kicks. Haggerty also said like one kick, I think he landed one low kick against Haggerty, and Haggerty was like, I need to finish this fight because I don't think I'll be able to last the whole fight with the leg feeling like that. And that was one kick apparently. Nico yesterday, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 kicks, and Nico's leg was completely gone, which I never expected because Nico looks like a strong guy, and I didn't expect him to get hurt so quickly. But his leg was completely gone. At one point, I didn't think he was actually going to be able to stand up. I think right at the end of round 1, he kind of buckled back to his corner, and it looked like he could barely walk. And I was thinking, gee, I did for Nongo to outpower Nico in round 1. And then round 2 came, and I thought, right, I think if I was Nongo personally, what I would have done, a few feints here and there, little feints, fake the low kick, get a reaction, wait for him to drop the leg, and then kick that standing leg again. Because I think, I don't think Nico, and Nico said it, I don't think Nico's got a quit in him, but if your leg literally can't, if you can't put pressure down on the floor because your leg's so smashed up, you can't win a fight. And I was really surprised at the tactics Nongo took after that first round. He kind of started trading with Nico. He got caught with a couple of punches and he sat on the ropes. Again, I don't know why he sat on the ropes against someone that's so dangerous and so big like Nico. Sat on the ropes, got caught with a few punches, started trying to trade with him, and then got caught even more, got rocked, and he was looking in a bit of trouble at that point. Kind of come to the centre of the ring, and they kind of went back to like neutral again, but then Nico got that kind of momentum swinging his way, and then you saw the finish. He kind of chopped right down with the elbow, landed beautifully. It proper took Nongo out, and he was never getting up. Yeah, huge win for Nico. I did think, like I said, I thought he was going to win it, but I don't know. I don't know if I've seen that happening. I thought it was more going to be with a punch, but it was a beautiful elbow. So fair play to him. He's put himself into a title fight position now against Jonathan Haggerty. He called for that fight on the mic after, and that's a real interesting fight. I mean, you got 2 lads from the UK fighting for the one championship title. I think that'll be fireworks. And I think both their styles, Nico's kind of size, how big he is, how strong he is, how technical he is, versus Haggerty's explosiveness. But Haggerty's got real good like shot selection. He's very dynamic. He can do different things. He's got good footwork. Completely different fight to Nongo and Nico. I think completely different fight. I think Nico's going to be a hard guy to beat at that weight. Like he's so strong, and I feel like if he does land on the chin when he's fighting at bantamweight, even if he fights heavier, he's proved it when he's fought heavier. He's landed on people's chins and he's put them out. I feel like one shot he's gonna put people out every time he hits them. So Haggerty being the title or the champion of the bantamweight division, it's a 5-round fight. That's 5 rounds Haggerty has to do without being like clocked in the chin basically. And I think the likelihood of that happening is slim. But great fight, and it's really good for UK Muay Thai. It shows how good we actually are. There's so many good fighters in the UK now, and the fact that there's two UK lads fighting on the biggest stage in Muay Thai for the belt, it's a massive achievement for UK Muay Thai as well. So looking forward to seeing that whenever it happens. As for Nongo, I don't really know where he goes from here, to be honest. And that's not just because he lost the fight. Like, people can bounce back from losses. Like, in Muay Thai, people lose, you come back. It's not a big deal. But he's achieved everything you can possibly achieve in Muay Thai. And there's nothing else for him to achieve anymore. And I feel like you don't want to see Nongo like getting older, the chin gets a little bit weaker. Like, if you keep getting knocked out by these young, hungry, up and coming lads, like, the chin's not gonna hold up. And I just would hate to see him carry on fighting and kind of tarnish his legacy a little bit by people remembering him being knocked out on one at the end of his career. Do you know what I mean? So I reckon if he stopped now, he's probably had one of the most successful careers in Muay Thai, him and probably Senchai. And you could probably say Borkow as well. Like, you can put them 3 up there, but he's probably one of the most successful Muay Thai fighters in the world ever. And I hope he just kind of goes out on a high. So, but I don't think he will. I think he'll fight again. And like, if he does fight, I don't really know who he would fight, but always interested to watch Nongo fight. He's an absolute legend. So hopefully he comes back, if he does come back, and comes back stronger. Moving on to the next fight, and this, to be honest, actually one of my favourite fights, or one of my favourite performances, was Petjija versus Anissa. And this was probably one of my favourite performances of the night. I thought Petjija was unbelievable. This was contested under the kickboxing rule set, and it was the one, I can't remember the division, was it atomweight or strawweight? Atomweight, I'm going to say. Kickboxing interim title. And I think Petjija hasn't really been fighting kickboxing much, so she come up against Anissa, and it started off how I thought it was going to start off. Anissa being quite unorthodox, kind of throwing some shots from weird angles, kind of bedazzling Petjija a little bit, but I thought Petjija stayed really calm in obviously in the first round, and kind of obviously stuck to her game plan a little bit, stayed calm. What I was really impressed with her was her movement was great. She had great boxing defense, but she cut the range very well. And then she was out of range. She'd throw her shots. She was back out of range. She was dodging shots with head movement. Her guard was great. I was really impressed with her performance yesterday. And I think from round 2, she started finding her range even more. And I think by round 3, I felt like Anissa had she looked a bit lost, if I'm honest. She kind of didn't have an answer for anything after that. And then it was Petjija kind of dictating what happened in the fight. She was pressing forward if she wanted to. She was landing the hand combinations. I thought it was a great performance, and I think Petjija, I can't see many females beating her, to be honest. And so I'm going to say it, but I think Petjija will beat Stamp Fairtex. I think she could definitely take that belt off a Stamp, and I think she'll reign champion for a long time, I think, as well. So fourth fight on the main card. This was one I was really looking forward to. Joseph Lazeri versus Pranai. It was the big rematch for the Muay Thai strawweight world title. Obviously, Lazeri had previously stopped Pranai. He actually made him quit on his stall, which we've talked about this before, but that's not common to see a Thai quit on their stall. So Lazeri gave him a real beating in the first fight, cut his eye, just made it a real hard fight for Pranai. But Pranai has been calling for him ever since. And the build-up was funny because you could tell Pranai absolutely hated him. And Lazeri was trying to wind him up constantly, which was funny. It kind of played out, or made the fight even more interesting. So I started watching the fight and I was thinking, Lazeri started off kind of unorthodox again. He's got a real unorthodox style. He kind of does a lot of jittering, a lot of feints. I did think he started a little bit different to how he fought Pranai originally. Maybe a bit too much. I feel like he was maybe trying a bit too hard, pressuring, rushing into his shots a bit. Pranai stayed calm the whole time, and I think last time he got drawn into a bit of a scrap, and I think that went against him. Pranai is known as like one of the most clever fighters out there. You know, he's won the Thailand Fighter of the Year a few times. His speed of his kicks, his punching, his IQ, his movement is all like top tier. But when he fought Lazeri the first time, he kind of got drawn into a war, and I don't know if that's because of the small gloves. He wanted to get into a war and show him that he could punch or whatever, but it didn't work for him, and he ended up having to quit on his stall. Whereas this time, very relaxed, stayed back, picked his shots well, was letting Lazeri come to him, and then obviously round 1 straight away was maybe a minute and a half in or something, but Pranai let Lazeri come onto him, pushed his face, big elbow, and that finished the fight. It was he kind of used Lazeri's forward pressure against him, and I thought in the end, I think that's what I was saying about Lazeri's style at the start. I thought he was maybe trying a bit too hard, trying to be too awkward, instead of just letting himself flow like usual. I feel like he was trying too hard and ultimately paid the price in the end because he walked straight into an elbow and it flattened him, and that was the end of the fight. And Pranai avenged his loss, which he was obviously buzzing about. I think the next fight to make, if they don't make him and Lazeri on the trilogy, which I don't think they'll do straight away after such a dominant first round knockout. I would love to watch Pranai versus Ellis Barboza from the UK. Ellis just come off a great win against Tongpoon in, I think it was last week on one, a week before on one. It looked great, boxing was great, looked very calm under pressure, like shot selection was beautiful. Pranai is a different animal, don't get me wrong. I think him versus Pranai, completely different fight, but I would love to see Ellis get a shot at the Pranai fight. And I think it would be fireworks as well, because both of them are quick, strong, like small guys, but they're very good. So yeah, I think that's the next fight that I would like to see in that division too. Do you want me to go on to the next fight? So last fight, the main event of the card. I was buzzing for this one, to be fair. Tawanchai versus Superbon for the featherweight Muay Thai title. We'd seen Superbon come back over to Muay Thai rules, which we hadn't seen for a long, long time. He's obviously been doing his thing in kickboxing. He was a really successful kickboxer, beating some of the top names like Petrosian, etc. Tawanchai's obviously been on a tear for years. Like even when he was younger in the stadiums, he was smashing it. On one, he's done even better. He's made a real big name for himself now. He's becoming a bit of a superstar. So I was really buzzing for this fight. I thought the fight, it was probably my favourite fight of the night. It just reminded me of real Muay Thai again. Like, we weren't just seeing people chase for the knockout. You were seeing them watch exactly what they were doing. They were looking for openings. Their great timing, their kicks were unbelievable. The teeps, the kick exchanges, like they were trying to win a kick exchange. Like nobody was trying to lose a kick exchange. They were always trying to be the last to answer with every kick. The IQ shown by both of them, I thought it was just perfect. And their style was matched up so well. So yeah, it was a joy to watch, and that to me is elite Muay Thai and elite stand-up fighting. Not just people going for crazy finishes because they're going to get a bonus. This is proper martial arts and proper Muay Thai, in my opinion. But I think the difference in this fight, and the reason why Tawanchai took it, I think his teep, he controlled the range of his teep so well. That side teep's, it's beautiful. It's a bit like Samart Pakaru in the Golden Era fighter. Just perfectly done. Like so much kind of length on it as well. And I think Superbon was struggling to find an answer for that teep. But started actually picking up into the fight really well, and then winning some kick exchanges. I think in the later rounds, I think Superbon was starting to win some of the kick exchanges. But then towards the end of the fight again, I think Tawanchai's teep and his left body kick was so sharp, and I think that was the difference in the fight. I think that's why Tawanchai took it. I think every time Tawanchai kicked, you could hear it. I felt like I could feed it. Do you know what I mean? It was whipping across his arm against Superbon's arm, and even if he returned with something, he wasn't really returning with anything as effective. And I believe that's why Tawanchai ended up winning the fight. But both of them just showed great, just everything. Great defense, great offense. Footwork was great. I love the way Superbon, if he misses a shot, he's throwing another shot straight after anyway, so he's going to land the second shot. But I think both of them unbelievable. And I think if you're kind of aspiring to be, or if you want to make Muay Thai look beautiful, I think watch that fight. Especially because I think people are struggling with the kind of MMA gloves, the 4-ounce gloves. They think straight away, because they can knock people out now, they're just going crazy with punches. But you can be so effective still with them gloves on, but still look beautiful doing it. And I think them two showed that in that fight. Moving forward for them two, I think for Tawanchai, I think Chingis Alazov is the fight in kickboxing. I think that would be a great fight. Chingis is an animal, but it'd be very interesting to see Tawanchai fight him. I think that's the only fight that's really interesting for Tawanchai at the moment, going into kickboxing and challenging Chingis. So yeah, be interested to see that, and yeah, hopefully we see a big card like that again soon. That was a great card from One Championship, so looking forward to 2024 and seeing some more big ones and reviewing some more big ones. But yeah, thank you guys. I've been Dan McGowan. This is the Fight Business YouTube channel, and this was the Fight Reviews. Thank you.